All right, a Missouri school district showed students a video discussing gender identity and sexual orientation, and did so apparently without notifying parents or providing an opportunity for students to opt out, which is in violation of state law. Well, this drew the attention of Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, who sent a cease and desist letter regarding the material. Attorney General Bailey also confronted a second Missouri school district regarding intimidation tactics against whistleblowers in the ongoing lawsuit regarding the district concealing its student bathroom policies. Well, joining me now to discuss all of this is the Missouri Attorney General himself, Andrew Bailey. Attorney General, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Well, it's always an honor to have you. And boy, you've got a lot going on, as you always seem to. Let's start with the material shown to students without parents' knowledge or the ability to opt out. Tell us what happened there, what's going on.
Look, there are very strict guidelines built into Missouri statute that govern what can and cannot be taught when it comes to human sexuality. And one of the provisions in the statute is a parental opt-in or opt-out procedure. In other words, schools have to abide by the curriculum standards and statute and have to present that curriculum to the parents, and the parents get to decide which curriculum is appropriate for their children. And the whole point here is that Missouri parents don't co-parent with the government. The curriculum needs to be consistent with the parents' values, and the check and balance is that the parents can opt in or opt out. And so this is our General Assembly, the elected representatives of the people's elected representatives speaking through statute that's been passed by the General Assembly and signed into law by the governor. And so when local school officials ignore that statute, it undermines the rule of law, it harms children, and it's a direct assault on parental rights. So we put the school on notice that we're not going to tolerate violations of our law, and we're going to stand up and protect parental rights here in the state of Missouri.
That's incredible and extremely a powerful statement to say the parents don't co-parent with the state. And yet that seems to be like a rash across the country, the attitude of government wanting to intrude and take over parental rights. Now, as I look at this, Attorney General, it appears to me that there is an affiliation between these videos, the curriculum, and Planned Parenthood. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right. A lot of the materials were presented by a Planned Parenthood affiliate. You know, the materials promoted casual hookups for teens, promoted research into abortion and LGBTQ issues. And again, these are direct affronts to our statute. These are issues of human sexuality. It's not a celebration of diversity. It's a perversion of the law to call it anything other than curriculum, because clearly they're trying to teach and sexualize the kids, and we're not going to let that happen.
And they're doing it with an obvious bent. I mean, when you pull Planned Parenthood into the equation, everybody knows what Planned Parenthood's all about. And it is directly in opposition to the values of at least half of our country. So to do so is nothing other than an attempt to push a political agenda, it seems. And then you have the Wentzville School District possibly using intimidation tactics against some whistleblowers there. I don't know. It kind of sounds like witness tampering to me. Do you agree? I mean, what's going on there?
Yeah, so look, we had whistleblowers that are currently on the Wentzville School District School Board who came forward to my office and said that they had objected when the board went into closed session and removed the public from the meeting in order to adopt a radical transgender policy. And when they objected, some of the responses they got were that it was none of the parents' darn business what the transgender policy was at these schools. Well, clearly, again, this is another direct affront to parental rights in the state of Missouri. And it also violates our state open meetings law. And so these board members did the right thing and objected and then came forward as whistleblowers, swore on affidavits, and my office didn't hesitate to file suit. The school board has got to respect the parents' rights to determine these sorts of policy decisions and ultimately have a voice in that process to ensure the safety of the children and that the children are being exposed to things consistent with the parents' values. So that as that lawsuit's ongoing, and as soon as that lawsuit kicked off, the other board members and some of the entrenched interests at the school began a baseless internal investigation, essentially weaponizing the personnel policies of the school against the whistleblowers. And that is absolutely an intimidation tactic. They've been demanded, censorship demands have been placed on these whistleblower board members. There have been intrusive searches into their use of email. So this is all, again, designed to harass and intimidate brave men and women who voluntarily serve on these boards and put themselves out there in the public domain to do the right thing by children and parents, and are now being intimidated because they wouldn't go in lockstep with a radical transgender bathroom policy.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Well, thank you for standing up for that. As I mentioned coming in when you first came on, you got a lot on your plate right now, because when all this is going on, we had this week the Supreme Court on Tuesday declined a case about whether potential jurors can be excluded based on their sincerely held religious beliefs. And all of that originated from a lawsuit against the Missouri Department of Corrections for discrimination against a lesbian employee. So we had 3 jurors who were removed from consideration due to their biblical beliefs. And Justice Alito, he rightly pointed out that Americans are going to have to hide their religious beliefs, or otherwise they're going to be labeled as bigots and treated as such by the government. So what are the ramifications of this? I'd love your take on it.
Well, we're not going to let radical left-wing progressives relegate Christians to second-class citizen status. The right to participate on juries is codified in the United States Constitution, and that's a right of citizenship. And look, Christians are able to follow the law just like anybody else. And this is the exact problem that was pointed out in previous United States Supreme Court case law when they were analyzing the constitutionality of some of these anti-discrimination statutes, where some of the dissenting judges said, look, you're opening up a can of worms here because you're going to run in direct conflict. The only people being discriminated against when the states pass these anti-discrimination laws too often are Christians who believe in biblical truth. And that's exactly what we see. This is where the rubber hits the road. When the judge said, hey, I'm not going to let these Christians be on this jury because I don't think they can be fair and impartial, despite the fact that the jurors specifically said, we are Christians, we have sincerely held Christian beliefs, but can follow the law. I mean, that is relegating Christians to second-class citizen status by kicking them off the juries. We can't let that happen.
Thank you, Attorney General Andrew Bailey from Missouri. We deeply appreciate your hard work, and thank you again for joining us on Washington Watch. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for having me on. All the best to you.